Welcome to my podcast, Sip and Sala, where we lift the lid, spilling the tea on all things marriage, womanhood, and motherhood. So let's sip some tea and pray we get through another day of this shit. Welcome back to another episode of Sip and Sala. As you all probably know at this point, my name's Aaliyah, and you all probably know me from Sala Socials. If it's not from Sala Socials, it's probably from @_Aaliyah Sala, one of the pages. I almost feel like, or you probably know me as the old boob girl because a reel that I posted went viral to like 10 million people in 4 days, and now the whole world is talking about me and my breasts. So yeah, I love that. But if you don't know me, welcome back to Sip and Sala. My name is Aaliyah, and we're here to just spill the tea. We're here to talk about all the things that most people don't talk about, and I don't know, just be our true, honest selves. I feel like sometimes when I watch podcasts that I enjoy, although I enjoy them, they're not really talking about what I'd like them to talk about. It's just generic shit. So, today's episode is called High School Dropout. I don't know why, but when I say that, I sing Beauty School Dropout. Like, but maybe I shouldn't because I'll get sued. So, yeah. But it's called High School Dropout. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Why is she talking about high school at her big age? But I truly believe that experience shapes you, curves you, and stays with you for the rest of your life, no matter how good or bad it was. And maybe I'm being dramatic. I don't know. But I do feel like it's a much more, what's the right word? Emotional and mental journey than just purely education. I don't really think that people emphasize on that. I mean, you hear people talk about it all the time, like, oh, I was bullied at school and it wasn't really easy for me. But if they weren't bullied at school, how was it for you anyway? Do you know what I mean? I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, there's two ways that most people look at school. There's like those who like think, actually, I think there's three ways. There's like those who go there for the social, just the socialization, which is me. Those who go there thinking that they're going to be Albert Einstein, and then there's those who go there who really believe like that they're going to learn, they're going to be the smartest, they're going to be the best. And I just I just don't know if I've ever met anyone who's like a bit of all three. I never gone there, but like I said, I was there to purely socialise. Me, I hated school. You couldn't pay me to go back one day there, and it's not as though I was like severely bullied. But then sometimes I think about it, right? Sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, wait, I wasn't part of the cool kids, but I wasn't part of the kids who got hella bullied. But the reason why I say hella bullied is because, like, people just do horrible stuff to those kids. I feel like the only reason why that never happened to me is because I just beat everybody up. I'll be honest, I beat them all up. I just thought, listen, I don't even want to be part of your clique, but you're not about to bully me. And I remember actually going back, like even primary school. I went to a primary school and I went from being the only, I say black girl. I know some black girls or black people may be like, you're not black because you're mixed race, but in my opinion, I identify with the majority of who I am, which is half black. The others are a quarter, so to me, I'm black. Anyone who wants to dispute it, I'm not listening. But I remember going to my second primary school, right? Being the only kid in a primary school who was black. It was like people didn't really bully me because I was black back then. It was more like they just assumed that I was extremely aggressive, extremely hardcore, extremely ghetto. Like, I just must have been. It's a given because I'm black, right? And I must have this really big black dad who's going to come and fight everybody. Little did they know that it's an absolute disgrace. But again, you've probably heard that on Daddy Issue, so we'll skip past that. But what was really strange is, like I said, I didn't really like school. So I went to a few schools, not out of choice, because they didn't want me to sit there anymore. Fine. Do what you want to do, Brenda. I really don't care. I felt bad for my mum. I felt bad that I was putting my mum through that. However, me, while I was being excluded, expelled, whatever, and moved around, I was just seeing it as like, I got 3 weeks off, I got 4 weeks off, whatever. Like, I hated school. And not because I couldn't understand or I was lacking any intellectuality, lacking anything intellectually. I just couldn't stand this idea of like, you go there and like, you know what it is, you respect your elders, of course, right? But it almost felt like a God-fearing thing. Like, you'd walk in and these teachers almost wanted to leave an impact just by their presence. Nobody's going to make me feel that way, honey. You better sit down in the same seat you got to sit every day, and I'll sit in mine, and that's just that. Maybe I got an issue, maybe I had an issue, I don't know. But I just, like, some people are like, oh, Miss Watson's here, oh, shh, Miss I don't know, bloody Miss Rachel, I don't really know, right? But they're like, oh, this person's here. I'm just like, I don't know if my mind was too far forward, because I used to think, well, Miss Rachel, Mr. Walker, whatever, they're just like me and you, but they've grown up. Like, eventually we're going to do that, whether we choose to be teachers or not. That's the way I saw it. So I think that just naturally, we rubbed, me and the teachers. We rubbed. But like I said, I went to a second primary school. Like, it was like a third or fourth primary school, but it was the only primary school I've ever been in where there was another black person. So there was me and this one other black girl, but she is I think she's full Caribbean, so there was a clear difference in complexion, but in my eyes I saw her as very much the same. However, she taught me a lot about parts of myself that I didn't even know, because obviously she had a Caribbean mom and a Caribbean dad, and although they were separate, I had a white mom, so the person who was doing my parenting for the majority of the time could only teach me what she knew. And let's be realistic, she don't know much about the Caribbean other than what she's learnt from my dad. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, when I went to that school, that's when I really started to experience things like, racial slurs, things like all the white boys would say like we had mustaches just because we were black. Like, and I remember she said this thing, and God bless her, I don't believe it to this day, but I thought, you're a thug, your mum must have told you that, and you're a thug. She used to say, we've got bigger lips so the sun catches our top lip quicker. But that is just like, she was like, what, 11 years old? Like, I remember standing there thinking, the meth ain't mething, but because I would have just beat them up. Like, do you know what I mean? So anyway, let's skip. We left that school for no reason of my own, purely because I was going to high school. And this is why we're talking about this. I feel like you've got two ways to be. No, three ways, I said, didn't I? Three ways to be. You're going to be the introvert who just wants to go and get an education. You're going to be the extrovert who's the class clown who's constantly getting removed. Or you're going to be the one that's like the social butterfly, the one that's able to academically hit, or, just about anyway, sit between the A and the C and still be the popular one. And I just wasn't. I'll be honest, I just wasn't. I think maybe it's because of, I don't know what it was. Because I feel like you guys may look at me and be like, what? I would think you'd be the cool girl. And maybe some people who went to school with me may watch this and be like, no, Aaliyah, you're definitely the cool girl. But I definitely was not. And I feel like now I'm thinking about it, actually, I'm like, wait, my high school was really out the way. I grew up from a very humble background in a 2-bedroom masonette. I didn't ever tell anyone this, but where I went to school was more of a middle class area. And I do feel like, now I'm thinking about it, the social ones, the social butterflies, the popular ones, I just, no, I wasn't carrying a Michael Kors or Paul's Boutique bag, you know what I mean? So they were just like, nah, this girl's rough. But skip past that. That experience alone, right, for as long as it's going to last, is so damaging. I don't know why we go to school and we feel that it's fine to like pick apart people because they're not what you've seen before, or what you're familiar with, or what your parents are familiar with. But it happens. Like, I've been on a bus like years ago, obviously, and you hear these children be so vile about one person, and you're just like, now I'm grown, I'm like, you have no idea how much you're going to change that person's life by your uneducated opinions or your unsolicited opinions. And I just remember feeling like when I was in school, like, I was, although, yeah, I was like, I kind of feel like I was on the midst of being bullied, but I would not let anyone bully me. I would literally beat everyone up. I'll fight you. I'll fight your father. Like, anyone, you're not going to bully me. That's that. I'd rather lose a fight than you bully me. That was obviously the wrong approach. I don't support that. Anyone watching this who is in school age, please don't fight. However, me, I just fought my way out of it. And luckily I survived and I kind of went under the radar a little bit. However, I just couldn't, I think I just couldn't get my head around the social expectation of normality. Like, what I mean by that is like, we were just expected to like, one day go from like doing paintings as our actual work, you're not really doing anything, to like this full-blown education. I'm meant to deal with being a male, deal with being a female, deal with, whatever my life is at home. Come here, fit in, and if I don't fit in, still be happy. Because if I'm not happy, I don't want to be here. And if I'm not here, then I'm losing education. And when I'm losing education, I'm struggling to learn when I'm in the education. Like, wait, where were the responsible adults? Like, it's crazy when you think about it. And I ended up in a school. Long story short, I got removed from that school and I ended up going to, I can't remember what they call it. I would call it a naughty school. And it was basically like an old church where they just put, I'm going to call them rejects because I was part of it. And that's what they made us feel like all the rejects that no school wanted to accept. They just put us in there. Now I think about it, as a grown woman with children, I'm like, wait, that was basically like a halfway house for us. There's people smashing down doors. You're like, your daughter, Sarah, right? She's walking into school, having her free piece of toast at the breakfast club. Me, I'm going in, people smoking weed at the gates. He's kicking down the door. I don't feel like I fit into that. Like what? Like, I just, but then, as I had to stay there. That was where I had to be. They kept me there. They said that's where you're going to school, and we didn't even learn school. I swear to you, the only thing they tried to teach me, which I refused, was how to make cheese on toast in the microwave. That should be illegal. But the girl who tried, I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but I will never forget the impact that she had on me because she was never trying to teach me. But I remember speaking to more of these people, watching more of these people, actually becoming friends with some of these people. And I just remember thinking, these are such scarred, trauma children, and we've all just been chucked in a box, like over here. The hours were like 9 till 2. It's not even schooling hours. You're not even trying to teach us. But then I was thinking back, like, wait, what what has that taught the kids that I went to school with? Like, I found myself almost being like COVID, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I found myself feeling like everybody wants to claim they've had me because, come on, it's a social, I've got, but then equally nobody wants to touch me. That's what I felt like. All the kids were like, oh, Aaliyah, I know Aaliyah. Not really friends with Aaliyah, and I, I remember not being as deep into the hole as the other children in the naughty school. So I was able to watch them from more of a stable mindset. And I remember thinking, if I do anything with myself and my life, it will be to share this. And I never made this profile or this podcast to share this. And I never actually thought that this podcast was going to lead down there. I didn't think we were going to get into the whole naughty school. However, we're here and I'm going to share it. And I do think we as adults, them as adults back then, and the future adults, the children we're raising, we need to raise them better. Because why are we teaching our kids, like, does Alex eat his fruit? Yep, be friends with Alex. I don't be friends with them because they've always got holes in their shoes. Like, come, bro. Like, who are we creating? Like, and also, you know what's worse? It's not even who you're creating; it's what you're doing to someone else. Like, I can't get over it, and I just wish that we could like scrap the whole fitting in, because Now, especially in the world of TikTok, there's young girls who follow me and they're like, I really want to be like you. And I'm like, please don't be like me. Like, watch me, learn from me, but don't be like me. Be better than me. Because I remember after the naughty school, I think, was it after the naughty school? After the naughty school, my mum had petitioned. My mum was like that Karen. She's fully telling everybody, right, that, this is a hypothetical, by the way. But, imagine your kid getting caught with sweeties in their pockets walking out the shop and she's telling them that I would have never done that. Like, she would stand for me. Like, and sometimes I used to sit in the corner of the room like, this woman might need to calm down because I'm guilty of most of these things. But I remember once admitting it, and the repercussion I had to pay. I know it sounds terrible, but I lied. I didn't lie. Maybe I didn't lie. I just didn't tell the truth. I just didn't tell the truth because after she once went ham for me, like going ham, like she went hell for leather for me. This is my daughter, and this is this, and this is this, this is this. She was so right about the whole thing and about the lack of opportunity they were giving me. However, not in this occasion because I was just being a bitch. But I admitted that, and she was like, the woman went nuts. She went nuts. She went nuts that she defended me, and I'm admitting that I did everything that they're saying, and I'm admitting that actually, in that one occasion, I couldn't give a fuck. Didn't obviously say that to my mum, but that's what I felt and that's what I meant. You know what I mean? Like some days, I'll be honest, I'd had enough, so I did go in there on level 1,000. I'll be honest, but like I said, people message me all the time and talk about fitting in, and I can't help but think about how many of us, my generation, we still try and fit in. Don't care what you say, whether you're 20, you're not 20, because if you're my generation, you're fucking old AF. I feel so. I don't know what happened to me. I literally hit 25, and that's it. Like I can feel every ache in my body. But anyway, if you're my generation, you're 27, 28. And we're still trying to fit in. Don't care what anyone says. If you, as a 28-year-old, walk into a bar, let's say you've got a friend called Susie, and Susie says, "Come out with me and my mates," and you walk into that bar with Susie, or let's say no, you're not, but you're walking with, I don't really care. Well, if Susie's on your hip, if she's waiting at the table for you, doesn't really make a difference. But when you walk in there, you're not your true authentic self because you almost want to read how people read you before you will actually react and be yourself in the first place. Pretty normal. But realistically, how much of school and high school and the rest of life experiences, but especially life experiences at high school, has that to play a part in? Like, now it's becoming trendy to be like a real weird, quirky girl. Like, but realistically, loads of us were like that at school, and it just weren't accepted. You was like the reject. Like, why would anyone? That's not a thing. Like, so we do that now. I know that, especially being a mom now as well. Like, man, this is why I've got no mom friends. I'll be honest, because I find lots of them, like, they put on a front. They're like, "Oh, your kid eats vegetables, well, mine eats vegetables and fruit and granola." Like, come on, I actually don't care what your kid eats. Respectfully, though, because I'm not responsible for paying their dentist bill, and I'm not responsible for taking them to the doctors. I'll be honest. Of course, I want the best health for someone else's child, but it's their child, it's their responsibility, and it's their choice. But those people who say that, right, and say my kid eats this and my kid eats that, and time how many days a week that they eat fucking corn, like, most of the time it's not even true. You get to know them, become friends with them, see their child more frequently, and they eat the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know why it's a priority to put that out there when you first meet a mom. It's the first priority to be like, what were your labour like? Yeah, 4 hours. Yeah, mine was 3. No gas in there. Who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Like, I can't get over. I don't believe that we, especially as women, were born and made in this way where we're just awfully competitive. And I truly believe that comes from high school. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember a day in high school where people weren't just like, it was always, I swear, even the best of friends were doing it. And I just, maybe I'm just too like laddish or tomboyish or whatever, but I used to think, the fuck, like, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, back to high school. I left the naughty school, and after my mum had went hell for leather for me, I was finally accepted to do like my final year. I think it was like final year or 18 months or something of high school. Yeah, I'd done a whole high school session like in the jail basically. In, oh my god, in that hellhole that they put me in. But they'd accepted me to do my final year in that high school. Now this was in more of a working class um location. So these were more my kind of people. Now they still had way more than I had. Obviously I didn't tell them that. They still had way more than I had. However, these people were way more forgiving. And I remember going there, making friends. Yes, I got some racial shit. Yes, I got some people just assuming that I was this and I was that just because I was just so abruptly me. Like, I just, like most people, my husband always says, is it the politenesses, courtesy, fuck knows, the politeties. I don't know what the word is. If you know the word, comment it. Polite niceties. If you thought of that and you commented before I got it, you know what? Gold sticker to you. But the niceties, my husband always says, you can add some niceties. And forgive me, don't get me wrong. I'm not just like, "Ugh." But if someone says, what don't you like about my outfit? I will say, well, I would never have wore them trousers with those shoes. My husband thinks I should have said, me, I personally wouldn't wear your outfit, but I love it. Like, that's not true. I was like that at school, and that just wasn't received well. And kind of get it, but I kind of don't, because I'm just like, I was never really rude. Yeah, I kicked some of your asses, but some of you deserved it. Like, some of you really deserved it. Oh my god. One of them, actually, now I'm thinking, I'm getting triggered. One of them is now apparently a boxer. This boy, anyone who went to school with me, don't even comment that boy's name, right? The boy stabbed me in the leg. I was doing nothing. In mathematics, he stabbed me in the leg with a whole pen. I you know what? We're digressing. But he's apparently a boxer now. But he deserved to get his ass beat. Don't just come and stab me. It went through my trousers, but see, I'm spitting now. I'm getting through my trousers though. Do you see what I mean though? Like, people always wanted me to be on this class clown shit, and when I was trying to get an education, people were triggering me because they thought I was like, "Ooh, let's ride the police so she can be the class entertainment." Do you understand? Stab me in the leg thinking I'm gonna take it as a friend. No, I beat his ass. I beat his ass. No, sorry, I shouldn't really like say that, should I? But it's triggered me. Don't even tell me his name. I don't want to hear it. I don't even know. I do know his name. Don't want to hear it. Anyway, went to the secondary school and finished there. People were way more forgiving, but I did find myself still getting a few labels. But I remember it's like year 11, year 10, and we had this like, is it like a PHSE teacher or something? I could never be arsed with that shit. Things that were just, ugh. PHSE, and then like I remember in like the posh school that I went to, you got to take like loads of academic different classes. So there was like a set of girls who have chosen health and social care, and they get to do that 3 times a week for an hour. And they used to be like, I'm going health and social care, and I was like, I'm going to not give a shit because I couldn't give a shit, and I'd go outside and smoke because I really was like a troubled child. However, I remember some guy, is it PSHE? I don't know what it is. If it's anything else, let me know. But he came and he was like, right, so everybody, I'm going to talk to you about a CV. I'm like, CV? CV? What jobs do we want? And here's everyone saying that, I want to be an air hostess, I want to be a pilot, I'm going to be a footballer, I'm going to be this. Now, I'll be honest, anyone who said they were going to be a football player, I just didn't believe them. That's really sad, actually. I just thought you're being delusional. Be realistic. That's really sad because there's nothing unrealistic about that, but me, I thought De La Dreamer. That was like my dad. Do you know what? That's just poured out of me. De La Dreamer. That is what my father's dad calls his kids when they like come out with something that just seems. If my husband says right now, like, "Oh, I'm gonna run a fucking marathon," he'll go, "De La Dreamer." Right? When will you come back to the earth? That's what I was thinking at the time. Like, come the fuck on. And me, I'm like, what do I want to be? I actually don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to go to college at this point. I'm so scarred by this whole experience. And I remember thinking, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Like, I am fucked. All I know is I need to earn money and I want to earn money. So he went about his business. I never wrote a CV because I just couldn't take the man seriously. And I went about my way, went about my business. Something happened. I can't remember what it was. But then it led to me no longer being allowed to be at the school or the whole prom. You know what? If they're still doing this, this is not really relevant, but it kind of is. If these people are still doing this, I want you to take this clip and forward it to all of them. You should be ashamed of yourself setting an end of year prom for hundreds of students and isolating 2 or 3 of them. That is the most disgusting thing you can do to people. Like, come on. Like, come on. Like, I was meant to go to prom. They said I was allowed to go to prom. It was based on great behaviour. Yeah, of course, if you've done craziness, of course, maybe there should be a bit of a restriction, or maybe you could just go, like, get dressed up for prom and take pictures, but not be allowed in the venue where it's unmanaged. Get it? I was allowed to prom, had a whole prom date and everything, right? About 3 days before the prom, I'd bought everything. They said, or maybe 5 days, Aaliyah can't go to prom because of her behaviour throughout the year. So they're not even saying last week. Not that anything happened last week. And I was really behaved because I thought, whoa, my brother wasn't allowed to go to prom. My sister was too ghetto to go to prom. I want to be the only one to go to prom. They were like, Aaliyah can't go to prom. I'm like, you what? There's people in this school right now way more ghetto than me, hanging around with drug dealers outside this school, right? And you're telling me I can't go to prom? I was so upset, and that level of isolation. And I remember the kids made it a thing and they thought they were being supported, but deep down they kind of knew. You know, they were like, oh, Aaliyah, why don't you just come and watch us? And then, like, I was pissed, and I did go and watch them because I was friends with some of them, you know. And I remember my mum driving me there in a fucking Peugeot 206 that she just got. She's finally passed the test like 6 months before, so she was fucking all over the shop driving. I'm just like following these fucking limousines and coaches and whatever else they'd hired to go to prom. They all get off the coach, whatever they fucking hide, you know, the transport, in their dresses and stuff and their suits. And you know what they tell me? Such and such is like on drugs. This person's like ketamine in the back of the thing. This person's taking coke in the back of the fucking limousine. I never touched a drug in my life. I'd never touched a drug in my life. I'll be completely honest. I'd been exposed to, I don't know if I can say this, like a plant, you know, a plant that kind of looks like a 4-leaf clover, but nothing more, right? Not, I'm being honest now, nothing more, right? I don't go deal with any of that now at my big age, but back then I only had ever, and the reason why I'm being honest is because, one, I don't want to lie, and two, I'm sure these people will literally run to the comments and be like, she was a massive chong head, you know. I wasn't. I kind of was, but I wasn't. You know, anyway, we're sidetracking here now. We're sidetracking. They'd all got off this coach, right? All dolled up like that and was highest in kites. Here I am. I'm meant to be the aggressive. I'm meant to be the aggressive threat to the world. Stone cold sober as a judge. All drunk as well, by the way. I'm just like, they make me, they want me in my little downwear, because I am not showing up to that venue in my dress, right, for no reason. Like, don't embarrass me, because I was a tomboy, so I ain't gonna wear that dress for no reason. I remember going there, and they're all taking pictures, and I'm watching them, and these teachers were like, just make sure she leaves. Like, what am I? Like, it's like, this is crazy. Like, they treat me like a suicide bomber. Like, that is madness. That's some madness. Like, and I swear to you, maybe I'm scorned, but I swear I was like, that experience alone has actually scarred me. I'm not joking, because I actually don't feel like I didn't do anything well, or, you know, behave to as best as some half of them did. There was people there who had been so awful throughout the year, still attending that prom, but me. And even now, when I go into social situations, especially being on social media, when like this is all part and parcel of social media, but I do think that kind of triggers me more when it comes to it. Like brands, they pick certain people who fit a certain narrative, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off so much, like because I don't fit their narrative. But then when they see my numbers, they're like, "Oh, can we work with you?" No, no, Bradley broke. Thank you. Bye. Do you know what I mean though? Like, what the heck? Or I get brands, right, who want to give me something gifted, and I'll be honest, I don't really like to do gifted because it always ends up being way more than it would have been if it was paid. People who want gifts, they want an arm and a leg. They want an arm and a leg and content delivered immediately, and it's just not worth the hassle for me. I'll be honest. I want to do something that pays me more emotionally than just a free fucking top, whatever. But if it's like, beneficial, like for gifts or whatever, I'll do it, right? They will post so many people's gifted content. They will never post me. Why? Because I don't fit that. But you know what? When my social platform goes from like here to here, and I'm going to say this right now on the 12th of January 2024, I'm not playing this year, right? And when it goes from here to here, watch all of those brands here, right, jump back in here. And you know what I will say? No, thank you. Because you got to stay true to yourself, and that's just that. Period. But anyway, we left school. She says we. I left school and I got a job. I had a job at Bank Fashion. It's a retail store. It was a retail store. It went into liquidation. It was connected to JD. But I remember I was what? I was one of the oldest in the year, so I left school and I was still. Was I don't know. Was I 15? Was I 16? I don't fucking know. I don't actually know. I don't know. I actually don't know it anymore. I don't know. 2013. When was that? What are we in now? 2024. How old am I now? I was 16. Okay, I was 16, and I remember, although I'd had a side job with my dad, I'm working for my dad. It's very different to working with strangers, right? I was kind of like, I went into this job and I remember looking around thinking, no one's prepared me for this. Like, I've got a manager who's about 40, got an assistant manager, like, and this was like, do you know, I'm going to say his name because anyone who knows who worked there will be like, oh my God, that guy. He's a living legend, but back then he was a fucking nightmare. It was like this 6'2" gay guy called Neil, the most flamboyant, yet annoying, yet meticulous, yet, oh my God. He'd stand there and gossip for 35 minutes. You couldn't turn around and look at your fucking shadow without him asking you what the fuck you're doing. I'd never been around people like that. So I had him. I had the lady called Rachel. She was lovely. And then I'm just put in a position with like loads of like 25-year-olds. I don't think there was anyone who was my age. Actually, I was Christmas temp, so there was a couple of people who was at 18 or whatever. But Christmas went by. I got the permanent job. I don't think any of them did. And I remember just being like, no one ever prepared me for this. And when people are like talking to you in that working environment when you've just left school, they're not saying, how was school? How was it leaving? They're like, they expect you to be an adult. And it's like, wait, where was this transition? Who told me about any of that? No, you know what I mean? Like, it was chaos. And I want to normalize that. And I want to normalize that, like, I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do until like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. Like, and I'm 27. Am I 27? I'm looking at my calendar. 27. I think I'm 27. I'm 27. Yeah, I'm 27. I'm 27 years old. I had no clue what I wanted to do until last year, and I've done every single job. And let me just put it out there. I've worked in a funeral directors. I worked in finance. I've worked in additional education. I've worked in a warehouse. I've worked in hospitality. I've worked in care. I've worked in mental health. I have girls put in work. You understand? Like, I have work. Trust me, I am not work shy. But I never knew like what I wanted to do. And I can't help but go back and think about what my man was saying. PHSE, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Like, what? How the fuck do I know? Why is it not more normalized that, you know what? You probably don't know what you want to do or where you want to go, but you know what? It's good to maybe, I don't know, pick three things what you like. You know, other than being like, let me commit now to being a fucking sailor. Like, I don't know, man. But the whole reason why I made this whole podcast is because I call it a high school dropout because obviously, as you probably guessed now, throughout this whole thing, I kind of feel like that was me. And I can't help but feel, I can't help but feel like, not that I'm a huge success now. However, where I came from, how I came from, where I was raised, my experiences in life and high school, not one person ever predicted me to be here. Like, and that's not on the internet with 100,000 followers. Nah, that's not it. No one expected me to be the woman that I am today. Just a fact. I get so many people saying, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that's Aaliyah." You know, I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it. So many people call me Leah, and it pisses me the fuck off. It pisses me off. But it's kind of my own fault because I remember when I went to school, and this is, we're digressing, but I'm going to have to tell you, I went to school and I remember someone saying to me, being like primary school, like, "Oh, your name's Aaliyah," and they were like, basically mocking it in like a, and basically saying that I was like Pakistani, and I'm obviously not Pakistani, but even if I was, like, what's the issue? And then they started like racially remixing my name, and then people making out they couldn't pronounce it, like, but and I know you might be like, what? Like, but back then I was the only Aaliyah, like, other than the lady that passed, and then God rest her soul. But other than the lady, the singer that had passed, I was the only Aaliyah. So everybody made out like I'd basically told them my name is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Do you understand? And I was like, whatever, just call me Leah. And then, like, I remember when they removed me and I got sent to that naughty school, I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to be who I am. And I said my name was Aaliyah, and I remember changing it on like Bieber or whatever. And everybody damn right thinks I'm making it up. Like I've just renamed myself Aaliyah, like I've rebranded myself Aaliyah. I'm like, are you dumb? I remember getting my mum to get my birth certificate out and take a picture, and I sent it to like half the fucking people I went to school with, because I was like, are you delusional? Are you on smack? So I know that even some of those people, they message me to this day, and I'll be honest, it really does piss me off, but I'm a much better person than I was back then. But you know my name's Aaliyah. My name is clearly Aaliyah on whatever social platform you're contacting me on, and it's not my number because we're not friends like that. And you're telling me I can't believe that's you, Leah. Like, my name's Leah, but thank you. You know what I mean? Like, and so many of my friends' moms who watched me in school are like, I can't believe that's her. And some of them, it pisses me off that some of them rate my success on my social platform. It really does, because I was so successful in life without social media. Like, I say that humbly. Like, my biggest thing is, find your success within you before you find it through other people, because other people come and go, you never leave yourself, you know. And yeah, that's just that. I really wanted to talk about it, and I hope I haven't waffled on too much, and I hope that whoever's listening to this, that some of you can relate in some kind of way and just normalize that it's okay to find you after school. You know, it's okay to be 18 and 20 and 21 and and still be looking for who you are. It's okay to be 30 and 40 and 45 and still not know who you are. It's actually okay to feel like you know who you are, go through a long part of your life or a big part of your life, and then actually re-find yourself, and the version you find is not the same person that you know or remember. Like, that is so normal. I feel like we carry forward so many things and so many traumas through this one experience, which I just wish we could change it, and I really do hope it's changed. We'll only find out when my children go to school, and I can only teach them what I had to learn the hard way. But that is me for now. I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, please do subscribe, drop me a like and drop me a comment. Let's get to 100 subs on YouTube. 100 subs, 1,000 subs. 1,000 subs on YouTube, please. And if you're listening on any other platform, make sure you give us a like, a follow. I can't speak, can I? Make sure you give us a follow, and make sure you leave a 5-star review. If it's any less than 5 stars, I don't want it. And if you don't feel like I deserve it right now, just hang around and we'll get it later, because I'm pretty damn sure that this is helping some of you. And for those who it isn't, DM me And I will keep things anonymous. We will chat about anything that you want to chat about. These are just things that I have kept close to me. And I feel like if more people spoke honestly about, then maybe I wouldn't have struggled so much coming to terms with them. So I'm just speaking purely on my own experiences right now. But if you have got anything, DM me. Everything's kept anonymous and we'll chat about it. But I will see you in the next episode on Wednesday. I wonder if any of my teachers watch me. That would be freaking hilarious and equally damaging for them, not for me.